Yeah, hi everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dr. One, and I am here to talk about NDMA. That is N-nitrosodimethylamine. So, for those of you who have not been in the industry, you might begin to wonder, what is this molecule? What is it meant for? Which pharmaceutical forms they do have it, and so on. And that's why I've decided to make an audio clip on this to clarify, to clear out the dust for those who don't know. Some are reading just papers, but I am saying this from my experience working in the industry. I have been involved in pharmaceutical production, drug safety, medical information, and regulatory. So I know what it is. These are all things that we'll be seeing them every day in the industry. So I can tell you from first hand what it is. So some time ago, we had the same scenario with metformin, and it all depends now on the drug manufacturer, and these things are quite common with generic medication. Branded medication is a different story here, and moreover, I'm very cautious when it comes to dispensing. I usually recommend patients, subjects who are prone to cancer, not to use solid dose pharmaceutical except say things like capsules. For that one, yes, because there's nothing like compression here. So the chance of you being intoxicated by nitro-dimethylamine is quite slim. So that's what I do. And we have the famous company called data sheet. Company called data sheet is like a birth certificate of a document that comes with it once the molecule is being approved by FDA. That is, we have to first of all develop that company called data sheet, then do the submission to FDA for approval. That's when we are issued what they call NOC. NOC stands for Notice of Compliance, meaning that we've abided to the rules required by FDA as well as Health Canada or the European medical agencies. So those are the things that they need. I will make more of this video to explain one by one all these terms that I'm using here. So I'm just trying to give you a big picture of what the industry is, how it operates, and how we got to the NDMA. So, ranitidines and nitro-dimethylamine problem may be tip of the iceberg. So, just to make you understand that there are a lot of things going on here that you cannot imagine except you are in the industry. What is N-nitrosodimethylamine and why is it dangerous? N-nitrosomethylamine, with the abbreviation NDMA, is a chemical shown to induce tumor formation in the gastrointestinal tract, liver, lungs, and kidneys in animals. NDMA directly activates RAS oncogenes, and methyldiazonium, its metabolite, is also a mutagen. International organization ranging from Environmental Protection Agency to the World Health Organization, International Agency for Research on Cancer, have classified NDMA as a probable carcinogen. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has set an acceptable level of NDMA in each finished drug product, tablets or capsules, at no more than 96 nanograms. So, like what I was just saying before, the question now is quantity of medication that you take. I can tell you that most of my patients who are on blister pack medication, they end up taking more than 17 pills a day. So if you start multiplying this 96 nanogram by 17 a day, times 7 for a week, times 4 for 1 month, it becomes a huge figure here of concern. So that's the whole thing here. And for that reason, I do recommend them to use other pharmaceutical forms. Although this is less than the 190 nanograms of daily exposure to NDMA that the WHO finds acceptable, this is an addition to NDMA ingested from food, tap water, and other NDMA containing drugs and dietary supplements. To date, the FDA has found excessive amount of NDMA in several lots of angiotensin receptor blocker, what we call the ARBs. For example, valsartan, losartan, irbesartan, metformin extended release products, and ranitidine tablet and syrup products. Now, you've just heard the list of medication that I've listed that were involved in this story, and I can tell you that these are medication being produced by generics or generic company. Branded company, such cases are quite slim. So that's a very important thing that you guys need to know when it comes to toxicity as well as withdrawal, because when things are coming up this way, the next step will be just to implement a recall. Recall meaning that drugs of that particular company will leave the market. So we usually get what we call the lot number and then pull them out. Where does ranitidine's NDMA come from? Angiotensin receptor blockers and metformin extended release products are contaminated with NDMA during the problematic manufacture of the active pharmaceutical ingredient or the finished pharmaceutical product. This means that finding an acceptable amount of NDMA in the active pharmaceutical ingredients or finished drug products at the time of manufacture assures that regardless of the time that passes, additional NDMA will likely not be found. Unfortunately, ranitidine can be contaminated with NDMA during the manufacturing process, but as the ranitidine's molecule degrades, new NDMA can be created as well. So that's the whole story here. A study by Emory Pharma assessed the creation of NDMA during the natural degradation of ranitidine active pharmaceutical ingredient and finished drug product over time at different temperature. So you see now it becomes challenging, especially for the African countries, that the temperature is quite high. Temperatures at times goes more than 25 degrees Celsius. So there are higher chances that those of you in Africa are already using medication intoxicated, and therefore cancer should be at your doorstep. That's the bad news here. I wish there were some regulation put in place to monitor this molecule with respect to stability. Stability is a very big factor when it comes to pharmaceuticals, especially when they go across various continents. Say, leaving Europe to Africa, the temperature is not the same, and the way the drugs are being preserved are not the same also. This study found that 150 milligrams of ranitidine tablets USP contained 18 nanogram of NDMA at baseline, but after storing it at 25 degrees Celsius for 12 days, NDMA dosages increased to 25 nanogram, and storing it at 70 degrees Celsius resulted in a dose increase to 142 nanogram. So you see what I was just saying here. So the higher the temperature of that country where this drug is being dispensed, the higher chances of the drug also being contaminated. So that's why I always say, those of you in Africa importing medication from the Western world, you need to be very careful here. Stability is very important thing. I'm going to make a video on stability for you to understand what I'm saying here, why I stress time and again about this thing. It's not a joke here. Ranitidine, 150 milligrams sold as Xanta, cold mint, was found to increase from 19 nanogram NDMA at baseline to 70 nanogram NDMA when stored at a temperature of 70 degrees Celsius for 14 days, just below of the FDA's maximum acceptable level. This means that having an acceptable amount of NDMA at the time of manufacture does not assure this will be the case on the day an individual ingests it. Shortening the expiration date and strictly controlling ranitidine storage conditions throughout the supply chain and in patients' homes would be needed to mitigate the risk. This will be a difficult but surmountable obstacle. So this is what I have been saying here. What to do in order to reduce this intoxication, and especially when it comes to cancer. So any country needs to put up an authority, a group of scientists that they need to take in hand this responsibility by reducing that condition, by monitoring the stability of those drugs, those solid dose pharmaceuticals. That's what we do here in the Western world, and I expected other countries, especially Africa as a continent, to implement that same principle. Otherwise, it's going to be terrible. This study by Brownstein and al. Explores whether it is possible to create NDMA in the stomach after ingestion using an in vitro model. In a simulated stomach acid pH of 2.5, there was a relationship between the generation of NDMA at the concentration of sodium nitrite increase from 1 millimole per liter to 100 millimole per liter. This suggests that when nitrogenous products are in the stomach at the same time as ranitidine, there would be an accelerated generation of NDMA. Similarly, with a fixed amount of sodium nitrate, that is 50 millimole per liter, The researcher found a relationship between reducing the pH from 5.5 to 2.5 and the amount of NDMA created. The NDMA dosage created with standard doses of ranitidine were more than 10,000 nanogram, an alarming amount. So you see for yourself what I'm saying here. It's not a joke. This is something evidence-based that we need to take it serious. The study by Brownstein et al. Was an in vitro study with a simulated gastric environment, not a real stomach churning with real stomach content. However, the results are bolstered by a 2016 clinical study by Zeng and Mitch, in which urine samples were collected from 5 women and 5 men over 24 hours before and after consumption of ranitidine, a 150 milligram tablet. After ranitidine intake, the urinary NDMA increased from a baseline of 110 nanogram to 47,600 nanogram per deciliter. Unfortunately, Zeng and Mitch did not test the ranitidine tablet for NDMA before use. So whether the NDMA was created in the tablets or in the human body could not be ascertained. FDA has developed their own simulated gastric fluid module to assess the generation of NDMA. The FDA has stated that no additional NDMA generation occurred in their ranitidine study module, but they have not divulged their actual result. It is possible that FDA's methods have nuance differences compared to the study by Brownstein and all, but it is impossible to know for certain with the information currently available. There are some preliminary data suggesting that the use of ranitidine is associated with developing cancer. In a rodent studied by Brambilla et al., it was shown that the addition of ranitidine and sodium nitrite increased the percentage of DNA fragmentation and formation of sister chromatids exchanges or diploid cells. In addition, a preliminary observational studies by Math and al. Assessed the association between the use of H2 blocker and risk of different types of breast cancer. Current users of ranitidine were found to have a significantly increased risk of ductal carcinoma, but neither famotidine nor famotidine were associated with increased risk. While these studies are far from conclusive, they are safer alternatives. So you see what I was just saying here. So now that things are going this way, I would suggest you simply stay away from ranitidine and start using famotidine or famotidine to be on the safe side. Why not even move to a different class, say the PPIs? That could be an alternative. Where do we go from here? The big question. Researchers need to prospectively assess other drugs with dimethylamine groups to determine if they can create NDMA if stored at higher temperature, and to determine whether NDMA can be created after ingestion as well. A list of candidate drugs with dimethylamine groups bound to an electron-rich moiety has been identified in a water chlorination study. Investigators added 25 nanomoles per liter concentrations of 8 dimethylamine groups containing drugs and ranked the amount of NDMA created when they added 28.4 milligrams per liter chloramine, commonly used water disinfectant, at a pH of 7.0 and temperature of 21 degrees Celsius. They found that 94% of ranitidine was converted to NDMA at 24 hours. This is much higher than they found for 2H1 blocker and histamine, that's doxylamine and chlorpheniramine. Somatriptan, nizatidine, diltiazem, and tetracyclines, but all these drugs generated NDMA. If more than 10,000 nanograms of NDMA can be created by standard ranitidine doses, it's possible that some of these other finished pharmaceutical products could generate doses in excess of 96 nanograms. If NDMA is found in dangerous amount after hot temperature storage or after ingestion, these drugs should likewise be avoided in lieu of other similarly effective alternatives. So far, so good. I will end here and waiting for your questions. Please listen to this several times and share with other classmates, friends who are studying pharmaceutical or studying medicines. It's a good document for you to keep an eye on, and also when you have to prescribe medication, you need to keep in mind that these class of medication are not the best. So stay away from them. Keep the patient safe. As we all know, safety is primordial. We want to make sure that our patients don't develop cancer down the road. That has been my advice, and I keep doing that. I'm going to make more video to explain further still on these generic drugs, because it looks like some of the clinicians don't know the difference between a branded medication and a generic medication. This is where things are coming up. It's just the tip of the iceberg. More of the information will come as we keep going. My YouTube channel is there for academic purpose as well as for therapeutic purpose. Do not be ashamed to contact me. Get back to me whenever I have trouble, whenever I have doubt, and I'm more than happy to guide you. I've made a lot of videos here. I know others will say my videos are all diabetic, but again, not really, because I'm moving now towards pharmaceutical, or what we call pharmacy, and those who prescribe. So if you are one of them, then that's a reference channel for you to get more information. It is updated, more videos will be coming up, and that's it. Once more, thank you for following up. Make sure you share this video with everyone. Subscribe, like it, ask questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer you. Get yourself ready for part 3, part 4, part 5, and as we go. So I will get them to you. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Ciao, Dr. Wan.